Well, it's weird now. When you hit a certain age, you have a hometown, but you feel so far removed. Like,
yes.
I've been living in Los Angeles for 15 years, which feels insane to me that I've been in LA so much longer than I lived in New York or anywhere else in my life. I still don't know I can't go anywhere without GPS. I don't know how to get anywhere.
Did you, someone asked me the other day, because I first came to LA in 1985, and someone said, wait a minute, there was no GPS. What did you do? And I said, we had something called... this is where I sound like...
No, I had to use that because
Yeah,
I was born and raised here, yeah.
So I remembered I had a Thomas guide, which was like this big kind of almost phone book thing. And I'd be on a phone, not a cell phone, but just a telephone. And someone would say, yeah, we're having a Super Bowl at my house. It's in, Sherman Oaks. Oh, okay, that's in the Valley. Where are you? I'm at 325, Westridge Lane. And I'd say, okay, and I'd write that down. And then I would look up in the back and would say Westridge Lane, Thousand Oaks, page 75, B7.
A grid, yeah.
And then it was a grid. And then you would drive. I had a 1977 Isuzu Opal.
Whoa.
That looked like I bought it, obviously used at the airport. And it looked like they had butchered meat in the back seat. And to her credit, I went to a wedding once, and my date for the wedding was Lisa Kudrow. This is when she was doing improv, and I was doing improv, and we were what we would call friends. And I said, hey, maybe you should do a sitcom named that someday, and I'd like a piece of it. Well, someone forgot my piece. Anyway. I drove her to this bar mitzvah in that car, and she got in the car, and I saw her physically blanch. It was such a terrible car. But then she got in and didn't say anything about it, and I know she thought, oh, he murdered someone in the back seat. And now we're going to a wedding.
To be fair, there was butchered meat in the back seat of your car.
It's not a bad place to keep butchered meat. Keep an eye on it. No one can steal it.
But it is crazy to think that you would go into Tom's Cave, you'd be like, okay, it's Sherman Oaks, it's A25, page 76. And then you would have to then find the route from where you were to then be like, all right, I guess I'll take the 10. But and then did you just hold it in? Because when I first came to LA, it was pre GPS. Would you like hold it in your lap?
I would keep. Yeah, you'd hold it in your lap, or you'd keep it sort of like, in the space between the two seats. Or I would keep mine often. I was hardly ever driving anybody. I was usually alone. So
yeah, because you're in a butcher van.
Yeah.
Yes. Was no chick magnet in my car, but. Yeah, you would do that, and I remember very clearly the first time I got GPS. Someone told me about it, and it was in a rental car I was using, and so I didn't know where my friend Greg Daniels was, and he said, I'm at this address, and I punched it in, and I just followed the directions. I don't know what year this would be, but I followed the directions, and then it said, turn to your right, and then it said, your destination is on your left, and I turned to my left, and Greg was standing right there, and I swear to God, I looked up and was like, Jesus is real! It was such a profound, insane experience.
Yeah, it was probably like a TomTom or one of those like things that you put on the car. Yes.
Yeah, and I was blown away that was possible, and my kids... That's just the reality they know. They've had that their whole life.
You really don't ever learn how to go anywhere. I've largely, since I've lived in LA, there's been some version of GPS, and I've like literally never learned how to drive anywhere in Los Angeles. I don't trust myself to drive anywhere.
Are you a good driver? A lot of New Yorkers are terrible drivers.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm a fine driver. I'm like not great. I'm not a guy. Yeah, I've never been like. I don't know. I think it's weird when people are like, I'm a good driver. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're a good driver.
Yeah. It's like you're in the Indy 500.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Those guys are like, I speed a lot. That's what I feel like they're telling me. But I grew up driving. Since since I was like 6, I think I've been driving legally.
6.
Legally.
You should be a pretty good driver.
I'm a pretty good driver. If it's like a tiny plastic car with a
and if there's an adult pushing you behind slowly on a level surface, then you're a good driver.
I'm a pretty good driver if I can steer it.